want better choices because we want better choices. We think that better people should run because we think better people should run. But these are the people running. I happen to believe that there is not even a question for black people of who to choose. I mean, Joe Biden has been far above anything that President or ex-President Trump has provided. I saw him in the, what was it, the Chick-fil-A talking about jobs. Bro, I mean, the unemployment rate of black America now is about 5.6. When Biden came into office, it was 9.3. He's talking about money and checks, and I see Sexy Red and other rappers talking about he gave us a check. First of all, please study your politics and your civics. That's the Congress that allotted that money, plus it's Yodo. And if you're going to count that way, then count what Biden did for relieving the burden of people paying back their student loans. And on and on and on. When we look at every metric, not only putting a black woman in the vice president's office, not only putting a black woman on the Supreme Court, but doing programs that lift all boats, that address African-American people specifically in some instances, but more broadly, issues that are concerning us, whether it's about discrimination in housing, whether it's about not only student loans, but every effort of education, kicking kids out of school early, and on and on and on.
He's not being real. I mean, again, the 9+% black unemployment rate when Biden took office. Again, you have to remember when Biden took office. He took office in January of 21, 1 year into the COVID crisis. Now, yeah, we understand the lockdowns and everything else worldwide. Again, there were all kinds of people that lost their jobs, especially those in retail and service. They lost their jobs. Again, restaurants were shut down. I mean, even where I live right here in the South, we saw restaurants shut down, and some of them never opened back up. You know, a lot of retail, they shut down, they never opened back up. So we understand what happened during that time. And again, you can say, well, black unemployment, they were so high when Biden took office. Yeah, no kidding, it was for everyone. But what Michael Eric Dyson is doing is he's lying to you. Because go back and look at the numbers pre-COVID. We have to look at that. But again, they're lying to you, which is what they do. Again, the Democrats are the ones that tell you that you can take a boy and make him a girl, and you can take a girl and make her a boy. Again, the southern border needs to be wide open. If you don't want it wide open, then guess what? You're a racist. We need everyone to come into the country. Everyone. And if you disagree, you're a racist. Yeah, that's not real. And again, white supremacy and systemic racism, they're holding you down. They're holding you down. No, they're not. Again, he's saying that to you, and they're all saying that to you because, again, they want you to believe. They want to keep you powerless. They want you to keep blaming whatever boogeyman you can blame for your problems. Whatever boogeyman you can blame. Because, again, it's a way of keeping you under control. You believe the Democrats are the ones looking out for you. The Republicans are not. And you believe the white man is the boogeyman. They're keeping you down.
Donald Trump is a vortex of bigotry. He is the leader of the bigotocracy, the rule, reign, and tyranny of forces that are antithetical to our best interests, not only as black people, but as a nation. And when we look at every indication of where we are as a nation, this is a guy who's still standing by people who supported January 6th, the insurrectionists. He's trying to make them American patriots, but demonizing Black Lives Matter, demonizing people who protest for the right and the ability to live in this nation without the unjust encumbrances imposed on us by white supremacy. So I don't understand what black people see in Donald Trump's swag. I mean, come on, it's borrowed swag at best. It's referred swag at best. I mean, Barack Obama had swag coming down Air Force One. It might as well have been, 50 Cent playing in the background. I don't know what you heard about me, but the right can't get a dollar out of me, right? He had swag, but he had a tan suit and people went crazy. Now Donald Trump, the face of neo-fascism, the face of an authoritarian government that has already indicated if he gets back in office what he's going to do, there ain't no choice for us. And black people, we got to wake up. These are the things we have to attend to.
This right here is what I'm talking about. Again, it's all about the image. It's all about the image. That's what Michael Eric Dyson is trying to sell you. That's what the entire Democratic Party is trying to sell you. An image. Again, it's not real. It's not real. It's an image. But again, and the reason why Michael Eric Dyson is so upset and is calling Trump a bigot is because Trump, again, is unwilling to bow down to people like him. He's unwilling. And again, you can call him whatever name you want to call him. It doesn't matter. Again, it's not hurting him at all. And he's not that. But you know who is? You are. Michael Eric Dyson, you're a bigot. You're not real. You're not real. And again, anyone that is real, that's true to themselves, they have swag. Because they're being honest, they're being authentic. Whether or not you like it or not. And you're not going to like it because he will not bow down to the whole white supremacy, systemic racism, Black Lives Matter, trans lives, whatever. He's not going to bow down to that kind of ideology. It's not going to. And again, people like you that are far left, you don't like it. You got to make up, some term for him. A bigot, a white supremacist, whatever. You got to make that up because, again, he scares you because he's a strong white man. And again, he's not going to bow down to you or anyone else. He's not going to bow down to your ideology. And again, that scares you.
The article, I think, in the New York Times yesterday recently, that said that Donald Trump and the Republican Party are supporting third-party interests because those detract from and take votes away from Joe Biden. So we know in a tight race, every vote counts.
You're talking about RFK Jr. in particular.
RFK Jr. in particular. And I think that, again, this is not time for this extended journey of narcissism, this escapade of self-deification. Bro, these are serious issues at stake, and black folk got to get out there and vote.
I think I don't disagree with anything that you said, but I think that we don't take the time sometimes to take a step back and see why people do gravitate towards, somebody like Trump. Because I keep telling folks over and over, people will forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they won't forget how you made them feel.
That's
in
my
2020,
mm-hmm.
people felt they got the stimulus checks, they got the PPP loans, so they felt like it was more money in their pocket. Now, what I tell folks is let's think about how we got there. We got there because of Donald Trump's mishandling of COVID. So do you want to see millions of people die in order for you to get that check in your pocket?
Right.
And I think the other problem is the Democrats just do a terrible job messaging. And I think sometimes we help them with terrible messaging because we spend so much time talking about how bad Donald Trump is, knowing you ain't going to change none of those people's mind who's supporting Trump, but you don't talk about the good that the Biden-Harris administration.
Again, the Biden-Harris administration, they've done nothing at all. And again, that's why the Democrats keep attacking Trump, because they had nothing else to say. Nothing else to say. People, they've got to wake up to that reality. They've got to wake up. Again, the problem is not the messenger. The problem is in your message. Again, you had nothing to say. I mean, again, you're saying that Donald Trump mishandled COVID. No, he didn't. No, he did not. As a matter of fact, that man, he should have stood up more. I think he did as much as he could, but again, we ruined our economy during that time. And again, people like Michael Eric Dyson, again, this little fluffy ass over there. Again, all he has done is attack Trump and say, hey, Biden had less unemployment for black folks. When he took office, again, without saying what happened the year prior. People lost their jobs. The country was locked down. The world was locked down. Companies closed. people in service, in retail, in restaurants, again, they lost their jobs. Sometimes they never opened back up. But we gotta, again, we gotta buy into whatever you got. No, you guys gotta wake up. You've got to wake up. And again, Charlamagne, I think there might be some level of hope for you, but Michael Eric Dyson, that guy is so brainwashed. He's nothing but a fat fool. I mean, that's all he is. Again, he sits there behind his degrees and everything else, and he gets on camera and he talks about bruh. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. Because again, he's trying to sound a certain way because he's trying to reach certain people. And again, the only one that's, thinks a lot of himself is Michael Eric Dyson.
Look, on your show, Joe Biden made a joke. He was like, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Oh, my God.
I don't know if that was a joke.
Well, here's my point. Mm-hmm. We say we want a white person who understands us and can vibe with us, right? Bill Clinton playing the saxophone, but more importantly, understanding the limits, the interests, the ideals of Black America. That was an inside joke. Joe Biden saying, if you don't vote for me, that's a bit of swag, if you will, by promoting the fact that he understood the inside language and discourse of Black America. That was not laying claim to the fact that, oh, of course, if you are authentically Black, then I am the only choice for you. That was a bit of swag. And then we tripping.
If you vote for Trump, you're voting against He basically said if you vote for Trump, you're voting against your own interest.
I mean, he ain't lying. I don't detect no lies. So I'm saying if he's got that, we don't mind it if, some rapper who's white doing it, if it's Eminem and, Dr. Dre can send him, said he's the coldest brother on the microphone and what he does and blah, blah, blah. So we don't mind that kind of swag. But if a guy who understands us, who's had, look, complicated histories, people are constantly pointing, well, look at Joe Biden in the 1990s. Bro, what have you done for me lately? People evolve and grow. They change. Now, if Joe Biden is still saying the stuff he said back then about not wanting his kids to be involved in a racial jungle or, against busing. Find me a white person that really wasn't against busing at that particular point, even enlightened white liberals. Now, my point is not to say that he is perfect. He's not. The point is, though, what has he become? What has he evolved to? Right?
I agree with Joe. I would have came to that. Again, man, we should not have been involved with busing. We shouldn't have been. And we shouldn't be now. I mean, again, we have to understand so many of these kids from the ghetto, they're not able to do the work on the same level. So again, don't take them from their school and bring them to a school where they're not going to do well. And the people that are there are not going to do well. Everyone's going to suffer. But some harebrained liberal, they figured, we've screwed up these schools so bad. Let's bus our kids over there and take them to their school so we can screw that up too. Again, that's not going to work. And as far as prison reform, back in the 90s, again, there needs to be like 3 strikes, you're out. I mean, really. I mean, after people are repeating the same crimes over and over again, we have to understand, lock them up and throw away the key because, again, they're not going to do anything for society except for tear stuff down. That's all they're going to do. So we have to, at some point, we have to just lock the door, get rid of the key. That's it. You're done. But, I mean, people, they don't like hearing that because, again, if the majority of them are Black and brown, oh my God, you can't do that. We have to feel bad for them. No, we don't. And again, that is what's got us to the place we're at in this country right now. We defund the police, no bail. We got borders wide open. We got to feel sorry for everyone. No, we don't. Again, people are accountable for themselves.
Yes, at this point, don't we understand enough of why black people might be attracted to him? Some black men, let's go there. Some black men because of the swag of patriarchy, a man in charge. He's talking about grabbing stuff. This is vicious repudiation of an enlightened sense of masculinity. You ain't got to do that in order to be a man. So everything that Donald Trump represents that is attractive to us ain't great. So let's do away with the kind of patriarchy, the misogyny, the sexism that roils so much of our community in ways that are destructive, whether we see it in the church or the temple or the synagogue and so on, or whether we see it in schools. So the point is, yes, let's examine why black people may be attracted or others. And we ain't going to change no minds, but we can change enough minds within our own community to say, don't vote against your own best interests. And in that case, I think there's little choice about who we should vote for on that day.
What would you say?
I'm sure Michael Eric Dyson has said things that he does not want repeated in public. I'm sure. But again, the reason why nobody recorded him and put it out there is because he's not important enough. Nobody cared. But I think majority of men, and I think majority of women, have said things like what Trump said, and maybe about other topics, but something they don't want repeated in public. Number one. And number two, we need masculinity, a strong man back in charge. I'm sorry, we do. This country right now is being run by a bunch of feminine men and women. It's not masculine, not at all. We got to worry about who we offend. We can't offend someone. We have to call them by whatever pronoun they want. No, we don't. No, we don't. That's not real. No, we gotta have the southern border wide open. Why? Because we would be called racist if we didn't. And we don't want to be called that. Again, we have truly got to recognize that we need men, masculinity back in charge, and not only here, but in the Western world, Europe. We see what's happening. And again, people, they won't speak up about the migrant situation because they don't want to be seen as bad, as racist, as mean, as not compassionate. And people have to understand, if you're too afraid to speak up, because it might make you look bad. You're too afraid to speak up because you're afraid of how you'll be taken. Again, it's about vanity. Be willing to forego that. Be willing to say, I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm not going to call you by whatever pronoun you want to be called by, just to make you feel good. And again, true masculinity is not afraid to be divisive. It's not afraid to offend people. I'm not saying that masculinity wants to offend people just to be mean. No. But you have to be willing to offend in order to be honest. I mean, right now we know we can't take a boy and make the boy a girl. We can't take a girl and make the girl a boy. Can't do that. But again, they want to convince you. And again, you're too afraid to say something because again, they'll call you transphobic or homophobic or whatever. It's not real. It's truly not real. And again, people are going to wake up. They've got to wake up. Because if they don't, they will lose their country. And we are on the verge right now. We need Trump back in power. We need him bad. We need masculine men back in power. That, again, don't want to offend people, but will, in order to see the truth. And if you don't like it, well, and that's what Trump is. But guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.